All right, we should be streaming. Give me a quick second here and see if I can. Yep, I think we're good. I think we're all set.
Okay, why don't we get started then but move on to item number 6, the status reports, and if Steve and Doreen can kind of give us the updates that they have, that's an all right thing to do, and then we can go back to the top of the order when we do have our quorum.
Sure. Do you want to go first, Doreen?
Sure.
You watch your audio.
Is that working? Is that better? Not working?
Well, it's working, but it's all, at least on my end, it's very kind of screechy. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I have to get the other computer.
No. All right, hold on. I'll be right over.
Brady Parsons, flyer 469, Randy Parsons, flyer 469.
Always a well-oiled machine here. I will, I'll take Doreen's. So I'll cover hers and mine. Looking at, well, we can't really vote on the CD yet. But you see in her management report, our CDs are up again. I guess we'll need approval on that, right, Doreen? Eventually, you can just, okay. Well, I will come back.
You want to give the overview? We can vote on it when we do the finance report, or we could add it to an action item at the end of the list too.
Okay. We'll add it as an action item. All right. I will say that one of the things we're trying to get, we went out to bid on some landscaping projects. One that's pretty important here for right up in front of the main facility here. We have a retaining wall that's giving way. It has it has full-fledged given way. It's being held up by a 2x4. So we tried to get some bids. Doreen sent out 9, I believe it was 9 bids locally. We only got 2 responses, one of which was a denial, like can't do it. The other one gave us did submit a bid, but it was really, really, really expensive for the work, very expensive. So the question that we were going to frame to the board, and you see it's under our action items, but we'll just talk about it now, is those bids were all Gates County contractors, landscapers, that at the bids we were getting, does it make sense to possibly go outside of the county to try to get some better pricing at this point, because the price that was given was really, really high. And when we sort of asked them about it, they said as much, like they don't need the work. So they're just throwing a number out there that if they took it, then I'm sure they'll do it for that price, kind of thing. Either that, or it is, I mean, I don't think we're stretching the means by any means. Let's call it an emergency repair, because the brick's being held up by a 2x4. And we can possibly reach out and get some other contractors, maintenance, something in here to do a quick fix on it. And we would be within our, I believe we should fall underneath the amount that would even require to bid it out. So we're kind of working on that, and that's more of just an information topic, other than getting an input from the members that I have on the meeting here today. Thoughts on going outside, reaching maybe just outside the county to try to get some additional bids in.
So Steve, you're saying that the wall has to be rebuilt, or could that area be just regraded?
It needs to be, well, one of the two. So there's and actually in the proposal, we talked about just removing the bricks themselves, the retaining wall, digging out all of the earth that's behind it, and coming back in with some more decorative stone and a little bit nicer landscaping in there. To my completely untrained eye, it doesn't look like it's that big of a project. But the retaining wall that is there now, it's probably about 4 feet high or so, is at probably not quite a 45-degree angle, but pretty close to it. So it's got to come down. Either way, that's coming down, and we didn't really see the need to have to rebuild a new wall there. We could just dig out everything that's behind it, see what has to be repointed maybe on the building. It's the main structure itself, because it's been a long, long time since we've seen that part of the building. And then make some judgments there if any repairs need to be made there. And if not, just do some sort of decorative, simple landscaping within it.
I would be okay with casting a little bit wider net, given the responses that you received so far to date, just to see where the pricing lies, and if there's a great difference, then I could see moving forward with that. But we want to give preference, I think, to any contractors within the county.
Okay.
I support that, Ryan. I think that makes sense.
All right. Just shooting Serena a text real quick to see if I can get her to respond. All right. The other part we have on the landscaping. Mike has joined, so I can pass things over to him real quick. For Mike, all we're doing is going over our status reports while we hopefully find a fourth board member.
Sounds good. Thanks for your patience this morning, everybody. It was more than just me, though. Just a quick update on some of the projects, or a project that we assisted last year. Finger Lakes Rail Riders has recently opened up their bike tour from Benton to Penn Yan. We assisted them with a loan, and they opened up Memorial Day weekend with a soft opening. They're open Friday through Monday right now, and they're going to have a grand opening 4th of July weekend. So the July 2nd through the 4th, and then I believe they're going to 7 days a week at that point forward. A lot of positive feedback on it so far, both online and just from talking to people in town. I know John Kutchko from CBS or WROC TV in Rochester was down there yesterday, posted some pretty cool pictures, a quick video, and put some pretty high praise on it. So I think it's going to be a pretty positive attraction for the county. That's just starting to take on some steam. Cool, different type of event that we haven't seen in the county before. Other than that, Steve and I met with Richard Sutherland from Genesee Finger Lakes Planning Council over the past month, trying to find a way or find a loan that we can draw down the remaining balance of our GAIN loan fund that we were awarded, which is Growing Ag Industry Now. So I have a couple projects for that to utilize the rest of the funds that we are awarded. Then we can, once payments start coming back in, we can reutilize that fund as another revolving loan fund. Also just kind of brainstorm some ideas on how that organization can assist us going forward. Some potential more new grant opportunities or assistance with grant opportunities for both us and projects across the county. Is there any other questions?
I'll jump in then. We're still trying to track down the two members we have not heard from. Let's see. Updates I will give that's not on the management report. We did have a business that didn't necessarily utilize any of our direct programming, but that I was actively involved with. We did get a new business to move into, actually moved into Penn Yan. Blue Line Sportswear Printing and Embroidery, rented space in downtown Penn Yan at the in the Freemasons building. That's the facility. It's across the street from the Wagner restaurant. Peter Fiola is the owner of that business, and he moved. Actually saw him walking around downtown yesterday, and he said that they had signed and they're in. So that's a new business that has come in. I've also been talking to the owners of the Dundee Foods building, and that's a building is some of you are aware anyways, we've been focused on for a very long time to try to spark some life into, because it holds the biggest promise, I think, for Dundee as far as large employment in the area. And after some challenging ownership, the new owners that are in there have been great. They've been making deals. They've been fixing up the building. And there's, I believe, there's at least 4 buildings in there now, and we're working with a 5th one, which would be a pretty neat attraction there, which I can't get into yet, but it fits in the food manufacturing and history of the building. It fit in well there. So there's employees there. There's some life there. Some buildings are being renovated for it, and the owners are great and continue to reach back out to us, thanking us for the leads. But I turn around and thank them just for finally making deals happen out there, because it's been a long time since we've been able to do that. One of the businesses that's out there, by the way, because I've talked about it before. I'm on that committee within Dundee to see how we can get possibly attract a grocery store out there. But Nature's Warehouse is one of the businesses that's in that facility, and that's a home delivery grocery store. So it's they've been advertising pretty heavily, and so I think that it, at least to some degree, handles some of the lack of that potential food desert aspect. Other quick update is that the proposed 3-year moratorium bill on basically Bitcoin mining did not pass in this year's budget. So as far as Greenwich is concerned, there's at least another year that they could potentially start to continue their planned project out there. Obviously, it's an uneasy situation when the state is trying to make statements such as we don't want any of that, even if it's from a very select few within the legislature. But when other states are aggressively trying to attract it, and you have state legislators, especially with an assemblyman out of Brooklyn, where there won't probably be a whole lot of Bitcoin mining going on, but it continues to be a challenge. And as you can tell, I'm still not quite over the frustration of that part, but it didn't pass. So hopefully we can continue to move things forward there. And then the last thing I would just say is that, and I don't really have much more to add from it, but the visit we had from the Lieutenant Governor Hochul when she came through, I always I find it amazing. She comes in. There's no planned presentations or speeches. She generally really likes to come in and see how in this case, it was the DRI project for Penyan is moving along and get a tour. And she was, I think legitimately impressed with everything that we have going on, and had made some, comments about that. And see on her social media presence, we even took a picture in front of the pancake griddle there in front of Burkett Mills, which for all the years I've lived here, I've never done. So I'm now have a picture in front of the world record pancake griddle. So that was it. I don't know if there's any potential questions, comments. And like that.
This is Bill. Sorry I didn't make the meeting this morning on time.
That's okay. Just make a note, I guess, welcome. And then Doreen, just make note that Bill joined I have it at 8:49.
Yep. Yeah, thanks for calling in, Bill, too, because we do have a quorum now. So that'll be helpful.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that.
Thank you. To catch you up, Bill, Steve, and team just went over the management updates, just that we have the written report, but they just went over a few highlights. So we had skipped ahead to that portion of the agenda. But I think now that we have a quorum, we'll go back to the top, and we'll start. I don't think we need an executive session.
We actually do, and it's to discuss the actual medical history of an employee. That's a new one for you.
Okay. Then let's do that. Could we have a motion to enter into executive session?
I'll make the motion. This is Bill.
Second, Amy.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We will wait till Mike.
You just muted yourself, right? There you go.
We'll wait to confirm that the live stream is stopped, and then we'll
All right, we should be all set.
All right. Thanks, Mike. I would entertain a motion to leave executive session and come back into open session.
So moved,
Bill.
Amy.
All right.
I'll second, Bill.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So we'll move on the agenda to item number 3, approval of the minutes from our May 19th meeting. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes, and are there any questions?
Kevin Erskine, 5317.
Okay. Hearing none, could we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved, Mary Ann.
Second, Amy.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carried. Changes in the agenda. We do have 2 items to add. Number 7 would be the CD renewal, and number 8 will be online banking authorities and access. So
And
those
then,
2.
in addition, Ryan, we need to, again, remove the Oak Hill bulk foods. They are not quite ready yet.
Okay. Okay. Doreen, do you want to, or does someone want to do the finance report?
We'll give it a shot here. You have the checks in front of you. They are checks number 5580 through 5607 and E51 through E54 that total $38,980.94. Other than that general check detail list, I don't think there was anything out of the ordinary on either revenues or expenses this past month. But if there's any questions, be happy to answer them for you.
Okay.
Kurt Miller, 5317. Kurt, 5317.
Does anybody have any questions on those? All right. We have a motion to approve the paying those checks and accepting the finance report.
So moved, Amy.
Second, Mary Ann.
All right. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That's carried. We have already completed the status reports on item number 6, so we will move on to our action agenda here. So item number 1 is a lease with Jackie Ledgerwood.
Yeah, Jackie Ledgerwood, I guess it's actually Jacqueline Ledgerwood Esquire, is renting space in on the first floor of Cuca Business Park. It is actually Doreen had it in there. It's Suites 103 and 104, which actually comes out to roughly 410 square feet. I think in the management report it shows 190. That's just one of the offices. So it's actually a total of 410, give or take, square feet. It's a 1-year lease for $500 a month. That includes utilities and internet.
Okay, it seems pretty straightforward. Does anybody have any questions on the lease? Okay, hearing none, could entertain a motion to approve?
So moved, Mary Ann.
Mary Ann.
Second, Amy.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty.
That actually, just real quick as a little editorial note, that with Jackie coming in now, we are at there's 127 employees now within Cuca Business Park, which is a pretty big number. I'm not sure we've had that number for maybe ever, or at least a long time. That's not true. When Badger was here, there would have been that many here, but it's been a while since we've had that many employees here.
Yeah, that's great. So item number 2, we had talked about a little bit earlier, but the landscaping bids, I don't know if there's anything that needs approval here.
No, I think we'll go back out and might need to make a move to do some emergency repairs if we can find someone to do so on the one section. The bid was bigger than that. We had probably 4 different elements to it. All of them were up there. So we'll go back out, extend the invitation maybe to some others, and possibly have to make an emergency repair out front here in the meantime.
Okay.
I don't know if, Steve, if you know, I don't know if we have to make a formal board. Does the board have to vote to not accept any of the bids as received, or can we just move on?
I think you should just be able to move on.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Great suggestion.
Yeah.
All right. So we will do that. And that would take us to there's 3 different initial resolutions. But there's 3 different phases. So we have to go through them, I think, one at a time here. But it's NSF Torrey Site 1 LLC initial resolution.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll give a overview of the, kind of all 3 projects, since they're identical projects, giving the overall impact for all 3. And then if there's any questions, I'll take those, and then we'll present each resolution individually.
Okay.
So NSF Torrey Site 1 LLC, or 2 and 3 are all entities to be established by parent company Norbit Solar Farms. They're a solar developer out of Rochester, New York. And they are in the process of purchasing about 106 acres in the town of Torrey, close to Climbing Vines and City Hill Excavating, just closer to the lake. And they are proposing 3 separate 5-megawatt projects. It would be a community solar project, so any energy produced would be provided back to households, businesses, schools, but by allowing those that sign up a discount on their energy bill. Each project is a $6.7 million total capital investment, so the total project cost for all 3 is $20,100,000. We are still negotiating with Norbit Solar Farms right now on the exact terms of the lease, specifically what the pilot payment will be. They came in requesting within their application a $4,000 per megawatt pilot payment with a 2% escalator. We came in, countered that with a much higher number, around $7,000 per megawatt. Due to it being on active farmland and proximity to other solar projects. So we're still in negotiations. The initial resolutions that are being presented today are to authorize us to hold public hearings for each project. We'll make sure that those negotiations are complete. We come to terms prior to the public hearing, so we can properly present the projects at that point. And then once the public hearing is complete, we'll come back to the board for final approval, along with those comments from public hearing and again the final terms. So right now we're in again discussions with between 4,000 and about 7,000 per megawatt. The project impact summary I sent out to the board yesterday utilized kind of a middle ground. So we based the numbers off of 5,500 per megawatt with a 2% escalator each year. So I'll go through the numbers here pretty quickly. You had them, you saw them yesterday in my email. But again, the total capital investment is $20,100,000. Based on the total capital investment, the proposed pilot payments at 5,500 with a 2% escalator, and what the base assessed value. Taxes paid would be over 30 years. The total company investment would be $23,943 and $23,943,171. The proposed total benefits for all three projects over 30 years is $5,530,170. Most of that is made up of property tax abatements, which would total $5,180,698. And then sales and use tax abatement of $349,472. So if you compare the total economic benefit to the community investment, you're looking at a 4-to-1 ratio. With these solar projects, there's no full-time equivalent jobs created going forward, but it is proposed to create 50 to 70 construction jobs over the build out, and we'll utilize about four full-time contractors for landscaping, security, and operations and maintenance going forward. That's the breakdown on the project. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those, or we can move towards presenting the resolutions. Again, it would just be to authorize the public hearing, and we'd come to final terms before the public hearings are held.
I'll just jump in real quick on the pilot terms. Where the figures are coming from is we do have access through New York State Economic Development Council. They sent us out a spreadsheet basically of all the approved pilots that have gone on solar projects throughout New York State, which was really nice to have actually, so we could see evidence of what other communities have done and are doing. So that's where the numbers are coming from, and there's some discussion back and forth as to why certain regions are getting higher terms than others. A lot of it has to do with the actual utility provider in your region. And so we're going back and verifying some of the data that we're finding and seeing in that. So that's, the numbers aren't being completely made up on our end. We are using some evidence of previous project approvals.
This is Bill. So Mike, or Steve, on that spreadsheet, what is, do you have an average? We're going back in again, looking at the regions themselves, because they vary. I mean, they're all over the place, but, and then you have some outliers and stuff. So, that 5,500 number that I think Mike used within his examples is pretty close to what that average is, especially when you look at, I think, in the NYSEG region. There are some that are much higher, and there's a couple that are much lower that I don't think are within the NYSEG region. But that tends to be, that 5,500 number seems to be at least around us what we've been seeing more as an average.
Mike, a quick question on timing for public hearings. When can you give a little bit of idea on when they would happen? Like 30 days, 60 days from now, that kind of thing?
We have to give 10-day notice for the public before the public hearings can be held. So assuming we can get our negotiations finalized here in the next couple days, we can get that out. I believe the company would like us to move forward for a July approval. So that would be holding the public hearings before our next meeting.
Okay.
And if we don't come to terms, then we'll push that out.
Okay.
So this is Bill. I think it'd be good to have it, definitely during the summer months, so get as many residents as possible. Can you just, as far as the actual solar that is there now, this will be on the lake side of that then?
So if you're familiar with Climbing Vines property, you go down Hanson Point Road past the brewery, keep going towards the lake. There's a railroad track. If you go over the railroad track, then that's where the parcel is. So it would be east, just slightly northeast of where the climbing vines and where the previous project that we are approved that's under construction now is located. Predominantly east
so
of
it won't
it,
actually
closer
be
to the lake.
adjoining to that project?
It's going to be close, but it will be separate parcels. I don't know if they'll butt right up to each other or not. I can find that out and get back to you, Bill.
Yeah, just be curious. I know that there's definitely been comment made about the use of farmland, and it'll be interesting to see what the public hearing brings.
Yeah, it's certainly a concern that we've heard as well. So we definitely are taking note of that, and that's part of the reason for the increase in pilot payments to what they asked for. But we gotta, if the project's going to go forward, it's got to be economically feasible for everybody.
Correct.
It will change the visual landscape for sure between what is already out there next to climbing vines, and then this will be, right, it'll be right there. So there will be a whole lot of land under glass there, where there wasn't just even, not even a year ago. But
right.
All right. So again, this initial resolution is just to authorize us holding those public hearings.
I guess, and we probably should have in there, right? Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess the board needs to be okay with us settling on a figure between, in that range that we just talked about, to be ratified at the next board meeting.
Yeah, so once those negotiations are finalized and the terms are agreed upon, as Mike was saying, preferably get that done before the public hearing so that the public is aware of exactly what the business terms are. But then, yeah, once those terms are figured out, then we'll just address that at the final resolution stage.
And we'll get in communication too with the town as well, just to keep them apprised of where we are. Because the one we got approved in Benton, if you remember, the town was heavily involved in that discussion and those negotiations, and almost to the point where we were just sort of riding along with them on those discussions.
Okay. These are good.
So this bill, are we showing our hand by actually coming up with the 5,500 for the megawatt, or do we still have the opportunity to negotiate upwards?
I think we still have the opportunity is still there to negotiate upwards. We just, as a place value for discussions of the board, said, here's, we just sort of randomly picked 50, 55.
No,
right?
it's in the middle of what the negotiations started at. They were at 4,000 or about middle, and we came back at 7. So just kind of use that middle ground as a kind of placeholder for the time being, so that we could show you kind of what the economic impact was going to be.
So yeah, there's still opportunity, Bill.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're not basically showing our hand of saying that we're basing everything on 5,500.
It's just for illustration purposes.
I realize why you did the 5,500, but it seems to me that we're going to want to get as much as we can for this property. So.
Good discussion. Does anybody else have any comments before we move on with votes here? All right, so we'll start with item 4, which is Tory Site 1. So we would ask for a motion for approval.
So moved, Amy.
Okay, and a second.
Second,
We're
Mary
talking
Ann.
just for public hearings, correct?
That's
Yes.
correct, Bill.
Yes, that's correct. All right, so this will be a roll call vote. Each of these will be a roll call vote. Can you guys?
I can lead it. I'll just kind of go around as I see them on my screen anyways. Start with Ryan,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
and Bill.
Yes.
Okay, carried. Tory Site 2, may I have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved, Amy.
Second, Mary Ann.
Okay, thank you. And for the roll call?
Ryan,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
and Bill.
Yes.
Okay, and for Tory Site 3, we have a motion for approval.
So moved, Mary Ann.
Second, Amy.
Thanks, and roll call?
Ryan,
Yes?
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
and Bill.
Yes.
Okay, carried there. We'll move on to our next item on the agenda, which is the CD renewal that was highlighted in the management report or the finance report on Doreen's section there. Steve, do you guys have a recommendation?
Yeah, based on the rates, and it's kind of a little bit of a nuisance to have to do this every month probably, but based off of proposed real estate acquisitions and what could be upward interest rates, our suggestion is to go with Wayne Bank of the Finger Lakes for 30 days.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved, Amy.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second it, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I do feel comfortable voting on that. If it was going a different direction or coming to Lions Bank, I would need to abstain from the vote, but I can vote to have it there, I believe. Okay, and our next item did we have one more item added?
Yeah, it was, online banking authorization for Mike LePerry through October 1st of 2021.
Okay, and that would start now here after the meeting.
Yep, starting now. Yep.
Yep, that makes sense. Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved, Mary Ann.
Second, Amy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, so that's carried. Do we have any other action items before us today?
No, other than two, I guess, items to bring up is I think we'd like to get our governance committee together here probably before the next board meeting. And that is, Brian, you're lucky enough to, I think, to be on all of them, but Ryan, Amy, and Serene. So I'll see if Doreen can coordinate a time that works for the three of you to try to get us together. I don't think it'll take long. It's just more policy, some of our existing policies to make sure they're tightened up. And then the other question I have, and you don't have to discuss it or say whether you're comfortable or not in open session here. You can. I'm happy to have offline discussions with you, but we can now have in-person meetings. So if we're comfortable starting next board meeting, the opportunity would exist for us to actually get back in person to have those. So I'll throw that out there that we're, at least on the staff side, more than willing to
do so if the board is comfortable in doing so, and you don't necessarily have to say anything now if you don't want to, but I would like to have some discussions maybe with each of you just to gauge that interest level. So, and I'm imagining we'll be everyone will have a slightly different comfort level than others.
Just as a question on the capability in the conference room, if someone wanted to call in or had a preference, they wanted to participate, but could they call in and participate via Zoom?
We are almost certain, yes. I mean, yes, they absolutely could. The limitations will come with our technical ability. So but yeah, I think we can manage to do that.
Okay. That would maybe helpful for someone to keep in mind. So maybe everybody try to get back to Steve with your personal preference on that here after we hang up from this in the next couple of days, so that you guys can have everybody's personal take on that, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Fine. Yep.
All right, and then the next meeting would be July 21st, in person or Zoom. So, anything else for anybody to add before we adjourn?
Just that I don't know, Bill, if you're able to, we're going to try to have I think it'll be a brief, but a finance committee meeting following this meeting. So if you can, that's Janice, who might be able to join around 9:30. Janice, Ryan, and Bill is our finance committee meeting. So I'll need you folks to hang on. I think from how it's going to work, Michael, in this meeting, you won't get kicked off this particular Zoom meeting, but we'll end the live stream and start. Those are also streamed, so that will kick back on a second new meeting for us. But everyone else, you're free to go.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Did we make a
Need to
motion?
formally adjourn it.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Second, Mary Ann.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we are adjourned.
Okay, now we can say goodbye. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.